إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سار على سبيله إلى يوم الدين ما بعد. So we're continuing on hadith number 15 from Umdatul-Ahkaam, still with matters related to istitaba, like cleanliness and ways to manners of relieving oneself and stuff like this. Now, so I mentioned عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يدخل الخلاء فأحمل أنا وغلام نحوي إداوة من ماء وعنزة فيستنجي بالماء. So here he mentioned this hadith that Anas bin Malik رضي الله عنه, he said, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to enter the khala. I go to the place of relieving himself, and I would carry, and another young boy like me, a jug of water or a bucket of water and a small spear, a very small spear, and he would clean himself with water. Now, what's mentioned is what's the benefit of the spear? Lis-sutra. It was used as a sutra for the salah. Now, when you pray outside, you place it in the ground as a sutra. Now, also from this hadith we benefit that the virtue of Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu, حيث كان يخدم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, as used to serve the Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم. وجواز استخدام الأحرار برضاهم. It's also permissible to have people who are free serve you as long as they're pleased with it, as long as they're happy to do so. وأن من هديه صلى الله عليه وسلم الاستنجاء بالماء أحيانا. And also from his guidance is that he would cleanse himself with water at times. Because also you can use a rock or stones that were smooth. And also that which will take his place, like current times tissue and the likes. ما يزيل به النجاسة, whatever is going to remove the najasa, the impurity. Also, from the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was carrying with him a small spear for a number of benefits. From them is that it would be a sutra for the salah, as a sutra for the salah. And that's mentioned in the Kitab al-Salah by Bukhari and Muslim. Of the things that was used as a sutra was the al-anaza, which is a small type of spear. Also, مشروعية تطهير البدن من النجاسة وكذا الثياب لقوله تعالى وثيابك فطهر. So it mentions also the legislation of cleanliness in terms of cleaning one's body as well as one's garments. As the Prophet, when the Prophet Muhammad received risala, being a messenger, بِسُوْتِ الْمُدَثِّرِ, وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ, and your clothing purify them. And it can also mean على أحد القولين في التفسير, and also في التفسير also بمعنى البدن, also one's body. Now, the next hadith I mentioned عن أبي قتادة الحارث بن ربيعي الأنصاري رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا يمسكن أحدكم ذكره بيمينه وهو يبول ولا يتمسح من الخلاء بيمينه ولا يتنفس في الإناء. In this hadith, it consists of 3 mannerisms that are prohibited from. The first 2 are in relation to relieving oneself. And the last is in relation to manners of drinking. As-salamu alaykum. Is in manners of drinking. So, in the first part of the hadith, لا يمسكن أحدكم ذكره بيمينه. None of you should hold their private part with their right hand. So when the man is going to the toilet, you don't hold your private part with your right hand. Rather, use your left. Now, whilst urinating, also, don't clean yourself, don't wipe yourself with your right hand either. You don't hold your private part with your right hand, nor do you clean your private area with your right hand. All of these things, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did it with his left. وَلَا يَتَنَفَّسْ فِي الْإِنَاءِ. And do not blow into the vessel when you're drinking. Do not blow back into the vessel. No.
About the last one, what happens if it's like you're in the gym or something and you're breathing heavy and you drink?
It's not from intention. And it's of these things that a qaida that I learned a benefit from. Some منهيات في الآداب ليس على التحريم ولكن على الكراهة. So when you have prohibitions in terms of adab, that is from bab al-karaha wal tahrim, that is disliked and not that is haram. And also when you have commands within al-adab, it's min bab al-istihbab laysa ala al-wujub. It's recommended but not wajib. واضح؟ So, for example, to not stand while you urinate. Is it wajib? No. It's sunnah to not stand. That is recommended. Now, but if you stand, are you sinful? La. Okay, so these are examples of this. Hudayfa ibn Yaman, yes, was guarding him while the Prophet was doing it as well. Now, but he said as well, and Aisha and said, whoever said that the Prophet was standing urinating and he has lied, this is based on her knowledge. She only knew him to what? Sit down, not to stand. So she's narrated based on what she knows. So those who narrated otherwise is because of what they also knew. Now,
do they comment on why she said has lied?
Because she's never seen him do it. And from what she'd observed from him, he always sat down. No. But those who narrated that he stood up is because they saw him stand up.
I think they gave him the reason because there was a dirt or something. That's why he had to do the urinate.
This is things that I mentioned, but it's not mentioned in the hadith. That's people saying possibilities, but as for the hadith, it doesn't mention that at all. When Hudayfa ibn Yaman, he says, I stood guard for the Prophet when he was urinating, and he urinated standing up. Now, so sometimes people try to mention an illah, a reason that's not mentioned, to say don't stand up. You see. So, of the things that's also discussed, because it doesn't mention, it mentions the dhakar, is this specific to men only? Even the woman should not touch her private area when she's urinating with her right hand. Now, and this is sometimes something is mentioned as if it's specific for men because it's a hukm al-ghalib, because majority of the time. And it's, yeah.
So Sheikh, would you be sinful if you use your hand?
With this is a prohibition.
I see.
Now, wallahu a'lam. If you'd be sinful for this. One of the things that I mentioned, out of wisdom behind the prohibition, is as a means of honoring the right, giving it its due, sharaf. Because one, al-yamin lil-salam, lil-akal, lil-haml al-mushaf. Now, of the things that is mentioned when it comes to blowing in the utensils, then one is, from the benefits of this is one, nothing unpleasant will enter back into the utensil. Especially if you're sharing it with someone else. Especially if it's being shared. If you're drinking someone, just watching someone drink and backwash is enough to put you off. You see, so imagine if they're blowing directly or breathing directly into the utensil, then you wouldn't want to share that drink with that person, for example. Also, min khashyat al-khuruj shay min al-fam. I will feel that something might come out of one's mouth and enter into the utensil. Wa khashyat al-khuruj shay min al-anf. And also something might come out of the nose. Now, and this is muwafiq li hadith Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's because when one is drinking as well, one is to take time, like sip. One should be drinking like so that this is not correct. No. So, اختلف أهل العلم هل هذا النهي في الحديث للتحريم أو الكراهة? Because they differ. When we have this prohibition in this hadith, is it for tahrim, any prohibition, or karaha that is disliked? It says جمهور العلماء, majority of the scholars, حملوا النهي على الكراهة. They consider the prohibition here to be that is disliked. It says ومن المعلوم أن الأصل في النهي للتحريم إلا أن يدل دليل على كراهة ولا دليل هنا. But Shaykh mentioned, from what is known, that the asl in the nahi is that it is for prohibition. Unless there's evidence to say otherwise, to make it disliked. And there's no evidence here to divert it from being that which is a prohibition to that which is disliked. Also, what they mention is touching your private part as a man with your right hand. Is that specific to when you're urinating or in general, in any given time? It says وردت روايات مطلقة وهذه رواية مقيدة والأصل حمل المطلق على المقيد سواء في الأوامر أو النواهي والله أعلم. So you mentioned you have a hadith where, narrations where it's general, it's not doesn't mention whilst you are urinating. Just in general, not to touch your private part with your right hand. And again, you have some that say whilst you're urinating. But the Shaykh mentioned that what's known, you take that which is open, the general ruling over the restricted one. Now, again, from this you can see there's khilaf bin Ahl al-Ilm, and the majority of the scholars, they say it's not a prohibition, rather it's disliked. So if a person takes a stance that is a prohibition and someone else takes a stance that is disliked, it shouldn't be war between them, but rather for you as an individual, you apply the stance that you take. But also, it doesn't mean that when we see matters that are disliked, that we should say it's not that deep, it's disliked. It's okay. Like, one should try to still stay away from it. Now, some things are habits as well, that one may not be able to think. And again, when you have these understandings as well, for example, you have some people, they're left-handed and they can't eat with their right hand to save their life. They try their best, but you said, okay, from what I understand, there are those who say it's disliked, that it's not wajib, that it's not a prohibition, so I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. Because some people, they can't. As much as they try, literally, it's the most discomfort that they're in. They're going to be dropping the food everywhere. That's just how it is. Some people are like that. And from understanding the different stances of the scholars, it allows us to be more facilitating, understanding differences, and not being so staunch. And it's like my way or the highway. When you come to understand knowledge, you realize in so much situations it's not the case. Knowledge, wallahi, it makes your life easy. And just bil munasaba, especially for us who ascribe to Salafiyya, trying to be upon the Sunnah. Some brothers, they shared a clip 2 days ago. They visited Sheikh Salih Suhaimi, who's the Mufti of Medina. And he said that this advice should be shared in the West especially. And we'll share it because it's very beneficial. Even though it's not directly related to the topic at hand, it's related to the topic of knowledge at large. So he mentions the harms of being ignorant and not understanding the Arabic language especially. And he narrates a situation. So the brothers are asking about matters to do with people, they say you're mubtadi', you're upon bid'ah, you're not upon the sunnah, X, Y, and Z. The same conversation we've been hearing for years now. Allah musta'an. It gets boring, literally gets boring. When it's still the same way, no evidence, you're just not agreeing with me, khalas, you're off. But the Shaykh, he wanted to emphasize the gravity of this da'wah and this manhaj that they have. And he said, I am aware of the situations you have in the West. Because he's visited a number of times. And when he was visiting, even the conference he visited was warned against. And he mentions this as well. But he said, I'm going to give you an example of how dangerous this is. And when we ponder this example, you're going to realize some people actually go through this. And I know people have gone through similar stuff. They're giving an ultimatum based on which masjid you attend and stuff like this. Allah musta'an. But this man, Allah Mubarak alayhi, he was very patient. Because I know for myself, I couldn't be patient in a situation like this. I wouldn't have done what this man did. So the situation is as follows. There was a family who came for Umrah or Hajj. A family came from Hajj. Father, wife, 2 daughters. Now, and one of the daughters is married. And when they're returning back from Hajj, they're very tired. The wife was listening to a lecture of a particular person of knowledge. And maybe it's translated or something, because he don't know Arabic. And the husband says to his wife, that, come on, my wife, my love, leave this off for now. Let's go to bed, basically, and let's listen to the lecture together. Tomorrow. Let's leave this off for today. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll listen together. That's what his words was. And the wife says, I knew it, you are a mubtadi'. They're not young, they're like over 50. The wife says to the husband, I knew it, you are a mubtadi'. Allah musta'an. Imagine that. Your wife making tabdi' of you, khalas. Who made her do that? Her daughter's husband, their son-in-law. So look at this. This is, do you know the gravity of what you have in the situation? Has the son-in-law spoke to the dad-in-law, father-in-law? Has the daughter spoke to the father-in-law? Has the wife who's been fed this information spoke to the father-in-law? No. And this is the same thing that we can all say. Those who have made tabdi' of me, for example, never spoke to me, had a proper conversation. Let's talk about this issue, this matter, why you take this stance, that stance. None of that. But they've all made rulings. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Ajib. So it's like, someone brings out 6 meals. That one tastes best, that one's dead. Did you taste one? Nah, I just know, I looked at it. So he's mubtadi'. Why? I looked at him, akhi. I can tell. Simahum fi wujuhihim. Allah musta'an. The attributes are in their faces. I can see the bid'ah all over him. That's how they behave, Allah musta'an. So this woman, she said to her husband, you are mubtadi'. You are with so and so, Sheikh. Did it stop there?
No.
She boycotted him for 3 years. He didn't divorce her.
In the same house.
In the same house.
The man is patient, mashallah.
Patient, Allah Akbar.
He didn't get married again.
He's coming.
That's not mentioned. Allahu A'lam. 3 years patient. Thing is, obviously, when you're older, sometimes your desires are not as much, so you might be more easy to be patient and that you're still having hope. And this is what you're going to see the ending. Maybe that was the fruits of his patience and his hope with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So she boycotted him for 3 years. Never sharing food, nothing. Never ate together, nothing. Slept in different rooms, everything.
Everyone cooks for themselves.
Yeah, same house, you don't exist. Who else boycotted him?
Son-in-law.
The daughter and the son-in-law. Only the other youngest daughter stayed with her father. And the youngest daughter said, let's go for Umrah. And take your case to a sheikh. Take your case to a sheikh. The daughter, when she booked the trip, she still had to book a separate room for the mom and the dad. Separate room. And the sheikh they happened to go and see was Sheikh Saleh Suhail, Mufti al-Madinah. The same sheikh giving her the advice, same sheikh narrating the story. So the Sheikh was asked, okay, what's the situation? He let them speak. And he asked the wife, when the father narrated the whole case, he asked the wife, is everything as he has said? Is it true? What he said? She said, yes. There's no exaggeration. He said, if he exaggerates or he lies, then pull him up. No, everything was as he said. They were coming back from Hajj, tired. He said, if you can listen tomorrow, he said, Mubtada. Boycott him for 3 years. The Sheikh said, the angels have been cursing you every night for 3 years. Every night for 3 years. Because there was no right to do so. Sheikh said they all started crying, everyone. The father, the wife, the daughters. But he explained to them. And the Sheikh said, even the one you are that you have been warned against, or saying he's with this one, so he's a mubtada', we hold him to be from the sunnah. We don't consider him to be a mubtada'. Who told you he's a mubtada'? The Sheikh said he made them all recite Quran. They couldn't even recite Quran properly. And they said the son-in-law doesn't recite better than us. But yet, they can tell you who's mubtada'. When was it just because you listen to someone, you're mubtada'? Or you don't listen to someone, mubtada'? And this is the importance of knowledge. They don't like you to hear these things. And what they're going to say, when Mashaykh speak like this, they say, but that Sheikh doesn't know. He doesn't know the manhaj properly. And all this batil. Kalla. Rather they know. And that's why the Sheikh he mentioned specific individuals. And they know who they are, but he said, we're not going to mention names. من باب الاحترام وعدم الإثارة في الفتنة. From respect and not me being a cause for fitna. Because even in the da'wah you have people who, they are troublemakers. And they enjoy it. They have this characteristic, is a very weak character. They like to cause trouble and drama between individuals. We're more in need of understanding this because we are the minority, especially here. Minority as Muslims upon the Sunnah, minority as Muslims in the West. I've heard cases, brother told me they have to get divorced because the wife said, if you can't go to this masjid, then that's the end of us. They make that choice and look what happens to them after. Allah musta'an. Say, don't go to that masjid. They are all mubtada'. Everyone who goes to that masjid is mubtada'. Why? Because that masjid is with that sheikh. Okay. Is that it? Is that it? That's all you have to say? Is there ijma'? This person is a person of innovation? There's consensus? All of the scholars of Ahl Sunnah, they're on this same stance as you. And it's ajib that brothers immediately show you enmity on this basis. And start to behave like thugs. Even sisters used to do it. I remember back in the days I used to use Facebook more. I used to teach 40 hadith then. So every time I'd post my class, or someone would post my class for 40 hadith, they would post underneath it as a comment, a class for those who don't consider to be from the people of the Sunnah. Bored people, who've got nothing better to do with their life. Then they'll go, they're like, like Shaitan, yeah? When he asks the people, his followers, what did you do today? And they all come and say, I did this, I did this, I did this. All their offerings for worship of Iblis, yeah? And he's not happy with them unless they caused divorce. That's the one he's looking for. They behave in this manner. They'll go, Sheikh, I said he's Mubtadi'. Yeah. I went to his masjid, they say, Mubtadi'. I didn't give him salam. I looked him in his face with a harsh look. I remember a miskin brother told a brother that he looked at me harshly. I didn't even see him. MashaAllah, it's like scouts. You can get a brownie points. There's a chart. Who's done the most boycotting this month? Who avoided the most salams? Who screwed with a bad look? Those who attribute themselves to the sunnah, but we don't consider them from it. Is that what you want? Twitter's the worst. You see people using foul language and the likes. But yourself, have you ever spoke to that person? No. But scholars have spoken. Okay, did that scholar speak to me? No. And this is what we need to wake up and come away from this. Because the sad thing is, if this is meant to be based upon knowledge, why are we not applying knowledge in these affairs? Why don't we do with each other based upon knowledge? I used to hear brothers say stuff like, they got told by their teachers, don't speak to that teacher. You say, why? He's got too much knowledge for you. What? How can someone have too much knowledge? Am I not supposed to get knowledge? If someone has too much knowledge from me, that means I need to speak to them about the issue. Because they know, innit? Allah musta'an. The Sahaba, if they had difference, who did they go back to? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's what we've been taught. فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ. Anytime you have difference, go back to Allah. Go back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I go back to the Quran. Go back to the Sunnah. But we have to go back to those who understand it to judge between us. So today we have to go back to the scholars of Ahl Sunnah. Go back to them. Not only my sheikh. We can't go to any sheikh. We have to only go to this one. La, it doesn't work like that. We can go to a number of mashaykh. We don't have to go to just one. La, abadan. But we have to wake up from this da'wah that's poisonous. And it's been ruining households. As that example mentioned, imagine that's one person we know of. 3 years the wife boycotted her husband. 3 years the daughter boycotting her father. No, I didn't study in Medina. Like in the university. Alhamdulillah, I benefited in my trips there. Just like their teachers, when they talk about their knowledge, I benefited when I went Umrah. I studied chapters from this book, chapters from that book with the sheikh, yes. Yeah, we all do that, alhamdulillah. No, but we have to come to this point in life where we realize we need to stop being parrots and start being proper students of knowledge. Not just a blind follower in matters that we're not required to blind follow in. You sit with the ulama, yeah, alhamdulillah. We sit with the ulama whenever we can. Na'am. You see, and this is the beauty of knowledge. Knowledge doesn't belong to men. Knowledge belongs to who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why when Adam alayhi salam was created and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught him the names of everything, and he told the angels, فَأَنْبِئُونِي بِأَسْمَاءِ هَؤُلَاءِ. Inform me of the names of these things. What does it say? قَالُوا لَا عِلْمَ لَنَا إِلَّا مَا عَلَّمْتَنَا. We have knowledge. We don't have knowledge of anything except for what you have taught us. But you see, when people start to act like this belongs to them, like Da'wat Salafiyah belongs to them, and these are the ignorant people. And the thing is, they will respond and they will say things, they will curse us. Why? Because they take this personal. It's not for the sake of Allah. What are you getting upset? Why are you taking it personal for? Why is it a personal attack on you? If you're making a mistake, you're making a mistake. The same way you're teaching people for the sake of Allah, someone brings your attention, you're doing something wrong, you correct it for whose sake? Allah. The sake of Allah. It's nothing personal. But no. Then you got, so they'll go to one sheikh and they get one sheikh saying, whoever speaks about these brothers, they know they're not from the Salafis. That's a batil. Kalam mardud. I don't care what sheikh says it. I don't care what sheikh says. If you speak about these brothers, you're not Salafi. Hada kalam batil. Abadan. Because sheikh, you are only praising them from what? The one visit you have with them. They call you, they ask you questions. But have you lived with them? Do you see how they treat people? Do you see how they apply da'wah to Salafiyah on a day-to-day basis? You don't see that. So your tazkiyah, your praise of them is restricted. They're going to tell you, listen, any mashaykh I've spoke to, I tell them exactly the same books I'm teaching the masjid. What I'm teaching, what I've taught. All the books that we've covered, alhamdulillah, by Allah's permission. The shaykh say, Allah Mubarak. This is good. Ijtahid fi da'wah. Strive in da'wah. They're going to praise you. Do I go now and say, I spoke to the shaykh last night. And I told him what I was teaching. The shaykh says, we're doing good. We're on the right path. This is what they do on social media, on TikTok and stuff. Many videos doing this. So the young who are they're not aware, they are seeking knowledge, they're beginners in seeking knowledge, they think, yeah, mashallah, yeah, we're with the right crew. We're on the right side, we're on the right team. And they start getting involved in matters that don't concern them. I remember I narrated this story before, but I translated for one sheikh. I was going through a book by the Sheikh Umdatul-Ahkaam, gaining precision and proficiency in knowledge. 2 days, beneficial. After I finished translating, telegram. Someone saying, you translate for this sheikh, you've seen the warnings against him, X, Y, and Z. What do I say? Is he Salafi? You want to bring this to me? Is the sheikh that I translated for, is he Salafi? Is he from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah? Sending me videos. I said, I'm aware of the issue. I asked you the same question. Hour goes by. Still sending me links. Watch this, watch that. My only question, is he Salafi? Master response, I'm amazed, I'm shocked you're asking me, is he Salafi? Who am I to give this ruling? So why are you wasting my time? So then I send him from Sheikh Muhammad al-Aman al-Jami rahimahullah, the scholars of Salafiyah of recent times, passed away from Kibar Ahl al-Ilm. And he says in this advice, الخلاف بين أهل العلم لأهل العلم ليس لطلاب العلم التدخل فيه. Whenever there's difference of opinion between the scholars, it remains between the scholars. And it's not befitting for the students of knowledge to get involved. Stay far away from it. 20 plus years ago, this was said. The clip is there. I sent this to Barakallahu Fiqh for the reminder. Khalas, now you can never message me again. Don't bring these affairs to me. Because now you're talking about something that's got nothing to do with the fact that for the last 2 days, I've been studying with this sheikh, translating how to memorize knowledge, how to act upon knowledge, how to become proficient in knowledge, how to refute Ahlul Bid'ah, how to know someone's strength of knowledge and how they refute and correct mistakes. And now you want to come bring something that's not based upon knowledge like that. It's personal. I'm not wasting my time with this. But people have to learn to be like this. Not be easily influenced. Not be scared to speak. People are scared. They're scared that if they say something, that's the end of it. They're going to be spoken about. They're going to be refuted. They're going to be warned against. Who are you doing it for? When you're doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the 2 conditions is all that you have to worry about. Al-Ikhlas, that you're sincere, and that you're following the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As for this person's personal opinion, it doesn't matter. If they're going to say you've opposed the haqq, then they need to bring evidence of the haqq. And when you look at these people, many of them, if you look at the difference between them 10 years ago and today, they're the same or they're worse. They haven't progressed. Haven't done nothing. They haven't memorized no books, haven't memorized Quran, but they can tell you everyone in the West who you shouldn't take knowledge from. Every masjid in the West that you shouldn't go to. Ask them, what's the conditions of salah? I'll get back to you. Allahumma musta'an. But again, and this was advice from senior scholars, Sheikh Salih Suhaimi said, make this be known among the West. Don't listen to these people that are always warning you, say, Mubtadi', Mubtadi', but they can't tell you why. They can't tell you why. And when they say why, don't let them bring to you, oh, he's friends with so-and-so. Oh, he takes knowledge from so-and-so. Let them tell you, these are the foundations of Salafiyah, or Da'wat al-Ahl Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, and these are the principles this person has opposed. If it's not this, we don't want to hear it. Wallahi, scholars have been assassinated in countries for being people of the Sunnah, preserving the Sunnah. Because when you're a person of the Haqq, people are going to hate you. So that's your concern. But you are rewarded for the hatred. You are rewarded if you're patient upon this, knowing that you're calling to Allah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We'll stop there inshallah and we continue next week. But again, the main benefit we learn from this, when you have difference of opinion based upon knowledge, based upon having an imma, those who they preceded you from the scholars, major scholars, then we have to learn that these differences shouldn't be means for us to fight with each other. If you follow this opinion, I follow a different opinion, based upon knowledge, not based upon desires. Don't get angry with me. That's for you, but for me, it's not for me. It doesn't apply to me because that's not the stance that I take. نعم ونسأل الله أن يوفقنا لما يحب ويرضى وأن يعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما اللهم آمين. نكتفي بهذا وصلى وسلم على نبينا وحبيب محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.